So, welcome to this new beginnings and completion webinar. And my name is Kim Knight. And just a very brief introduction because there may be some people watching this webinar either live or later who've never met me. So, I just want to give a little bit of a very brief introduction to who I am and what I do. So, my overriding business is called the Art of Health and Science of Wellbeing, which is all about how to be healthy and have good well-being. And that is what I call an umbrella website, if you like. And underneath that sit three other websites or sort of segments of what I do. One part is very, very focused on emotions, anything to do with emotions, emotional healing, emotional intelligence, whether it's for individuals or businesses. That is the Emotional Alchemy Academy. Then there is the health section of my business, which is more normally to do with physical well-being, although as most people who work with me get to learn, there is no separation between our mind, our body, our spirit. Everything is intimately connected, and if one area is not being addressed, then it's going to be affecting the other areas. But that area is kimknighthealth.com. And then I don't actually have a logo for my Qigong website, but Dao Health Qigong is for Qigong. And I'll just share a little bit more in detail. So I have many, many online programs, especially in the Emotional Alchemy Academy, on how to really manage and master one's emotional, mental state. So that has a lot to do with mental health. And then for the health part of my business, it's about helping people to recover often from chronic illnesses which they're not having or they're not getting results with in other ways. Maybe they've tried many doctors, maybe they've tried specialists or other therapists, and because they're not really understanding the root of the problem, they're not able to solve it. So I help people get to the real root cause and solve things from a fundamental level. And then the Qigong is very much about self-realization and wisdom, growing self-realization and wisdom, and evolving one's consciousness towards a state of enlightenment. So that is a brief introduction to what I do. Now, this little webinar is about letting go of the old and inviting in the new. And it's going to be a guided experiential webinar, and that will be self-explanatory as we go through. And you can do it as I'm guiding it, and then you can also redo it later if you choose through going through the recording, and you can stop and start and pause the recording and take as much time as you like. And it's also something that you could do year after year, and it's actually a good idea to do every year. So you could use this recording ongoingly for as long as you like. Now, in Greek mythology, the god of doorways, the two-faced Janus, represented beginnings and transitions. So looking back and forward. And actually, I think did I say Greek? I can't remember. But in ancient Roman religion and myth, Janus is the god of beginnings, gates, transitions, time, duality, doorways, passages, frames, and endings. And he's usually depicted as having two faces because he looks into the future and to the past. So the new year is always an opportunity to reflect upon the year that was and the year that is about to come. And obviously, we're very familiar with people setting New Year's resolutions. So we ponder, it's a time to ponder on our failures and make New Year's resolutions. We resolve to rectify wrongs and renew our vows. It's a time to reflect, resolve, renew, and relinquish regret, which is not unlike the process, apparently, that the soul goes through when passing into the afterlife. And due to the global crisis of 2020, which we've just been through 2020, we're now just into 2021, many succumb to depression, fear, and futility, dread, angst, overwhelm, and uncertainty about the future. And this is not finished, as we know, as we're recording this right now at the beginning of 2021. The situation is by no means complete. We're not out of the woods. So 2021 will be about cultivating courage more than any other time in our lives and staying tuned into the networks of other like-minded souls and co-workers who are all striving to birth the new paradigm of Aquarius. So just very briefly, to just say a couple of words about the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, which some of you may be very familiar with and some of you maybe not. But we are moving into what is called a new age. And this has been talked about for many decades now. There was even a song, I don't know if it was back in the 70s or the 80s, I can't remember the band, but called The Age of Aquarius. And back then, a lot of people probably would have thought, well, that's just a song. But we are moving into a new age with new energy. And when we move from an old age to the next age, and an age is being a period of thousands of years, then it's a bit like where two waters or two seas meet, and there's a very rough transitional period or experience. So many years ago, when I was sailing from where was I sailing from? Greece to Italy, and there were two lots of sea, so to speak, that the currents were going in different directions, and when they hit each other, it was very, very rough water. And this is a little bit what we're going through at the moment. We're transitioning from one age to another, and we're experiencing those rough waters. But as humans, we are here to learn and grow. Life and the world and the planet is a university of sorts, and we're all students on planet Earth. And one way of learning is to reflect back on our progress and then to set intentions for new growth. So what we're going to be doing is going through, or I'm going to be taking you through 12 questions. Some are going to be reflective questions to see how much you've grown, and some are going to be forward-thinking questions for setting intentions for new growth. And as Carolyn Miss says, and some of these questions are from Carolyn Miss, we pursue these questions in a spontaneous manner. They result in reshaping how we think about the way we would like to travel through the new year. So for this exercise, and definitely for the first time you go through this exercise, I recommend that you close your eyes, you put your pen down, you don't think about writing notes unless and until I say open your eyes and make some notes, and trust that the answers that you need will come. And remember that you can do this exercise as many times as you like, but it's always good when doing an exercise like this, I feel, to go inwards and tune inwardly to your intuition, your inner tutor, and to allow the answers to come from within. And that will help the logical, rational mind to be more quiet and to not take over, so that the answers come from deeper within. So we're going to do a preparation exercise to relax and come inwards. So just take a moment to get yourself into a nice, comfortable sitting position. And you could also be lying down, but usually for alertness, it's better to stay sitting. So in your comfortable position, please close your eyes and take 3 long, deep breaths from your abdomen. Breathing deeply in your abdomen, expanding the belly as you breathe in, and just allowing the shoulders to drop completely and relax on the out breath. Just letting go. And then bring your attention into the center of your head and imagine that you're getting in an elevator and you're going to press the button to go down several floors. And as the doors close and the elevator moves down, you move down inside your body, through your neck, and into your heart. And just spend a moment in your heart, fully focused in your heart. And then press the button again in the elevator for the ground floor and go down, down into your abdomen, down to your navel, below the navel. And again, breathing in your abdomen, the belly expanding as you breathe in, everything relaxing on the out breath. And try and stay centered in your heart and your gut throughout this process. So we're going to start by reflecting back on this past year. Or it could be any amount of time that you choose. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, at any time of the year. And the first question that I'd like you to ask yourself is, what did I learn this last year? What did I learn? Just allow the answers to come. Don't be tempted to open your eyes and write down yet. Just allow the answers to come. What did I learn this last year? And then you have a choice at this point. You can either keep your eyes closed and go through the whole of the next number of questions, just completely inwardly, and then go through again maybe and write down later. Or if you want, you could open your eyes, just half open your eyes and scribble down a few notes if you feel like it. It's your choice. And I will leave a moment for you to do that if you feel like doing that, or if you're just continuing to ask the question internally. Remembering that you can always come back and add to this later. So closing your eyes again now, if you open them. Going back inside your heart and your gut. And the second question that I'd like you to ask yourself is, what did I achieve this last year? What did I achieve? Just take a moment to contemplate that. What did I achieve? Just see what comes to mind. And remember, you can always come back and do this again if you need more time. And if you need to open your eyes and make a few notes, then do so now. And just take a few more minutes or moments just to complete that question. What did I achieve this last year? And then close your eyes again. Bring your attention back into your heart, into your gut. Take a few deep breaths from your lower abdomen, making sure the shoulders are dropped. And the next question is, where did I fall short this past year? Where did I fall short? Take a moment to contemplate this with self-compassion, non-judgment, but completely honestly, because we only grow when we're completely honest with ourselves. Where did I fall short? Taking your time to reflect back on the past few months, the past year, maybe thinking of things that you wanted to do but didn't quite do, things that you wanted to change about yourself and you didn't quite get to where you wanted to get to. Maybe ways of being that you wanted to change, patterns of consciousness you wanted to change, and you haven't quite got to where you wanted to, but without judgment. Taking a moment to write any notes down if you want to do that. Then closing your eyes again, coming back into your heart, into your gut, breathing from the abdomen. And the next question, what are you grateful for this last year? What are you grateful for? Taking a moment to think about all the things that you can be grateful for. Remembering the events that have happened this year in your life that you're grateful for, people, situations, anything at all. And if you want to make some notes, make those notes now. Then finishing up and closing your eyes, coming back into the heart and the gut. And the next question, what would you like to see differently? Now we're starting to move into the now and the future. What would you like to see differently? Contemplating the question. What would you like to see differently? Trusting the answers that come. Taking a moment to make any notes if you'd like to. And we will be doing some more future pointed questions, so you don't have to answer everything or have answered everything or got all the answers at this point. So again, closing your eyes, if you open them, coming back into your heart and your gut. And as we move forward now into envisioning forward, we're going to look at 7 questions. These actually come from Caroline Myss. The first question, what do you hope for this coming year that is different from last year? What do you hope for this coming year that is different from last year? Just see what comes as you contemplate this question. And as you ask this question, it could be for yourself, it could be for other people, it could be for humanity in general. What do you hope for this coming year that is different from last year? And one of the reasons it's so important to ask questions for the future is that we create our future and our now by focusing on what we want rather than what we don't want or what has been the past. And it's so easy to go back into the past and rehash the past because the past has actually happened, whereas the future hasn't happened yet. It's harder to actually create the future. Well, not harder, but it's new. It hasn't been created yet. So we have to make a conscious effort to actually create it. And we can either do it consciously or we can just move forward unconsciously. But the more we actually focus on what we want, the more likely we are to create it. So what do you hope for this coming year that is different from last year? If you want to make a few notes, you can do that now. Remembering that you can always come back and add to this later. Don't feel you have to get everything done as we're going through right now. So closing your eyes again, coming inside. And the next question, how do you want to improve your life this year? How do you want to improve your life? Take a few moments to contemplate how you want to improve your life this year. And you can think of all the different areas of your life, such as work, personal, home, relationships, health, well-being. And take a few moments to write down notes if you're doing that. Then coming back inside into your heart or your gut, taking a few deep breaths from your abdomen, expanding the belly as you breathe in, relaxing everything on the exhale, making sure the shoulders are relaxed and dropped. And the next question, what do you want to contribute to your community to make it a better place? How do you want to contribute to your community in the next year? Contemplate this question. Allow yourself to dream big. Watch for any censorship that comes from the mind, minimizing what you may be able to do. These sort of thoughts are likely to come from our limiting patterns and our unconscious beliefs. So with all these questions, be aware of the mind if it comes in to limit what you're visioning. Give yourself permission to dream, to go beyond what you've done previously. To trust that you can do great things. Take a few moments to make some notes if that's what you're doing. Then closing your eyes again if you open them, coming back internal into your heart and your gut. Taking a deep breath and moving to the next question. How do you want to be different by the end of the year? What do you want to change about yourself this year? What do you want to be different in an ideal world? Watch for the mind coming in and saying, you can't do that, or I can't do that. Allow yourself to imagine what you would ideally like. How would I like to be different? Or what difference would I like to see in myself by the end of the year? Maybe this is in how you would like to feel different. Maybe it's about how you would like to think differently. Maybe it's about how you would like to be acting or behaving differently. Maybe it's something physical. How would you like to be different by the end of the year? And as you ask these questions, remember not to put pressure on yourself or feel pressure for having to actually achieve everything on your list. That's not what it's about. It's about bringing into conscious awareness the overall changes that you would like to make. And then they just get worked on one by one in their own time. And take a few moments to make a few notes if you're wanting to make notes. And it's not about thinking about how you're going to do this, it's the what at this point. So closing your eyes again, coming internal, coming back into your heart. And the next question, whose life do you want to improve and how will you do that? Whose life do you want to improve and how will you do that? It could be your life. It could be somebody else's life. Whose life do you want to improve and how will you do that? Take a few moments to ponder this. Just allow the answers to come from deep within and try not to censor anything that comes. And make a few notes if you wish to. Remembering that you can come back and add to this later. Closing your eyes again if you open them. Taking a few deep breaths from your lower abdomen. Relaxing the shoulders. And the next question, what changes are unfolding in your life that you need to cooperate with, and what does that mean? What changes are unfolding in your life that you need to cooperate with, and what does that mean? Take a few moments to contemplate this question. Often during a time of change, things can happen that we may not like, but we have to adjust to them. And that is particularly so at this point in time. Where are you having to learn to be more flexible and open, to adjust to the changes of the time? Take a moment to write a few notes if you'd like to. This may be a question that you need to come back to later. It has a lot to do with recognizing the changes that we need to make inside, that we're being asked to make through these changing times. And we may not necessarily like or want these changes. But as I mentioned at the start, we're all students in the game of life, and we're here to learn and grow. And that means going through growing pains. Growth is not always comfortable and often uncomfortable, which is why it takes courage and commitment. So again, closing your eyes if you open them. And the last question, in what way or ways do you want to deepen your spiritual life this year? How do you wish to work on that part of you that is beyond your physical body, your mind, your emotions, your personality self? In what way or ways do you want to deepen your spiritual life this year? Contemplate this question from within. What do you want to change? How do you want to grow? What do you want to be different? What is your ideal? Even if you don't believe it's possible, what do you want? Take a few moments to make some notes if you're making notes. Remembering you can come back and add to any of these questions, re-listen, redo this exercise as many times as you like. These are questions that need time taken to answer. We need to take the time to sit down and contemplate questions like this, and often we don't. So with your eyes closed now, I'm just going to read through the heart prayer. With utmost sincerity, unify yourself with the universe. Send your mind out in all directions to unify with the void of the universe. And unify with all forms of life. Plants, animals, humans, vegetable, mineral. Unify with all forms of life. Unify with the human family. Feel your connection with all 8 billion people on the planet. Feel your connection with their hearts. And share the following best wishes with the world. May everyone go into their heart to find refuge and feel safe. May everyone go into their heart to feel trust, openness, love, gratitude, and true respect. May everyone go into their heart to see beautiful bright light. May everyone go into their heart to meet their true self. From deep in your heart, wish everyone health, happiness, and growth. From deep in your heart, wish the world peace and harmony. Open your arms to the universe and unify with the unconditional love and wisdom of the universe. And draw this back to your heart, placing your hands on your heart, feeling the peace and harmony within. And then when you're ready, gently open your eyes. So to finish with, I'd like to share some opportunities for change and growth in 2021, individually, which then affects the collective. And just to preface this with a little bit about understanding the opportunity of crisis. So the Chinese word for crisis is said to be composed of 2 Chinese characters, one which signifies danger and the other opportunity. So a crisis is a challenge, but also an opportunity. And our Qigong teacher, Wan Se, has said that 2020 was an extraordinary year, but we should celebrate it because we've not only survived, but we've thrived. And the lesson we can all take from 2020 is that challenges are truly opportunities to grow. A challenge or crisis is also a great opportunity to work on ourselves and grow. The moment we struggle and feel pain is also the greatest opportunity to reach the deepest level of our heart and consciousness and get to know and face ourselves in the most intimate and honest way. This is the moment anything is possible. Humanity will still face all kinds of challenges in 2021, and some of these challenges may affect us as individuals. I'd like to encourage you to find the trust within yourself that there is nothing your heart and true self cannot overcome. So, what I'd like to share is just a few, and I haven't got my full plan yet, but a few upcoming courses this year, which are all about this moving towards and reuniting or the manifesting of the true self. Because more and more over the last few years, it is become more and more apparent to me that our purpose here on earth is to move towards a state of consciousness which is typically called enlightenment. And when I first heard this term, which was probably 20 odd years ago, and I heard about, hey, you can become enlightened, I just thought it as some far distant event that might happen, probably, most likely, many lifetimes in the future. And I never really believed that it was possible to do in this lifetime. And it has become more and more apparent with the teachings that I've been studying over the past 20 years, that and much more so in the last year, and especially with the teachings from Ren Shui, that this is our goal. And it is by people growing their self-realization and wisdom that we will change the world in the way that we want it to change it in a positive way. There is no other way, really, because we will only think and act differently as our consciousness changes. So changing our consciousness is the key to changing ourselves and changing the world. And this is a very loud and clear message that is coming from all spiritual teachers from all corners of the globe. And they've been saying it for years, but a lot of people have been thinking, oh, well, maybe in the future. But now is the time for this. So even last year, even before the COVID became known as an issue, I could already feel the move of my teachings from focusing on chronic illness recovery to working more on helping people transform their consciousness. And this is more and more the direction of where I'm going. So I will be doing various programs this year. As I said, I haven't set the schedule yet as I do this webinar. But the first thing that I do have to offer is a masterclass, which I'm calling Manifesting with Chi, which is a simple, magical way to manifest dreams and goals in alignment with one's true self. So not coming from the personality and the or the ego, although there are different meanings to ego, but coming from the true self, and it being simple and enjoyable. So this is an easy, simple, enjoyable way to manifest what you want and need in alignment with your true nature for your highest good and the highest good of all. And firstly, what we will be doing is setting goals which are in alignment with our true self, which are in integrity, so that we have congruence with the goals. Because if we have goals which are not congruent, then we're unlikely to reach them or achieve them. And then we build what is called a chi field of energy, which is a field of energy and information which grows, sustains, and creates the goals easily and effortlessly. So that is what you will be learning to do in this masterclass, and then you can use it to create anything in any area of your life. It can be used and reused over and over again. And it will be a live class with preparation work before the live training, and all the instructions will be sent once you register. And there is also going to be an option to have personally designed and created manifesting with chi audio meditation, which is set to music. So this is something that I've done for myself, where you listen to a recording, usually on a daily basis, while you're working on whatever it is that you're working on, and you just press play and listen to it and allow yourself to be guided by it, and then let it go. And things, or the universe, makes things happen for you. So the personally guided or designed audio meditation can be used to work on whatever it is that you're wanting to personally work on. And obviously that is a one-to-one consultation, and details of that are on the registration page. So that will be taking place in a couple of weeks on the 14th of January, New Zealand time. That's the day before USA or Europe. And it will be an approximately 2-hour masterclass. And then we'll have a follow-up about a month later, so that you have time to actually practice what you've learned in that time, without expectation, but just to practice and see what happens. And then we convene a month later and you can share. What have you noticed? Do you have any questions? What has changed? So that is the first offering for this year. I don't have anything else scheduled yet, and there will be more courses coming. So I hope you've enjoyed this reflection, this completion and new beginnings webinar. You can use it over and over again. You can come back to it. You can use it for any time period. It could be you could do it once a month. It's really important to self-reflect regularly. And in fact, a good practice which many spiritual teachers teach is to self-reflect every day. At the end of every day, you reflect on what went well today, what could I have done differently today, what would I like to change from today. And this is a really useful way to monitor one's progress and keep on track. So I highly recommend doing that. So thank you so much for watching this webinar, and I look forward to seeing you maybe on one of my live trainings.